Whoa. Well. Hey guys, how you doing? Hope everyone's good. Hope everyone's just absolutely fantastic, doing just so good. I've never done a live video this time of day before, and I thought, well, it's 3:21 a.m., so I'll do a live video right now. Might even have a ciggy. Let's have a ciggy, right? Yeah, got a ciggy. Yeah. I need some lighter fluid. I don't have any lighter fluid, so I can't have a ciggy. Oh, damn. Oh, well, I don't smoke anyway, so I guess that's okay. Right. Let's, I hope everyone's doing absolutely fantastic, I've never done it this time before, so I thought I'll do a live video, and if someone wants to talk, we can have a bit of chat, you know what I mean? Have a bit of chat. So, hey, Apocalypse J, how you doing? I've only got a bit of tea left. I didn't make much tea. Damn. Yeah, it's kind of hot in here. It's like 26 degrees inside, so I'm just hot, feeling hot. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was at the beach earlier. Saw a sunset. I'll show you the sunset. Let's see the sunset. Right, let's see the sunset. There we go. There's a sunset at the beach. How good was that? Yeah, it was a sunset at the beach. Yeah, sunset at the beach. Yeah. Hey, Zero Control, how you doing? Hey, Bobby Dobby. Chilly in the UK, eh? Hey, mate, there you go. Pretend you're at Brighton Beach kicking up some of those pebbles, and there you go, there's your sunset. There you go. What's on my mind? I don't know, not much. What's on your mind? Yeah, just, do you like my golf hat? That's my golf hat. What do you think of my golf hat, eh, Johnny Walker? See, what do you think of that, eh? Yeah. So, Just Plain Folks says, you rock. Thanks, mate. You rock too. Oh, this cigarette light's from Hawaii. Check that out. It's from Hawaii. Hawaii. Yeah, nice. Zero Control said, don't ask. Wait, Zero Control. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to tread on your toes there. Yeah. Hello. Well, someone's writing in Greek. Hello, sir. That's very interesting. Wow. I can't really read that. Apocalypse J says hat looks spiffing. Yeah, why not? Hey. So, guys, did you like the Zero Control says, if ever not busy, check my stuff out. Check your stuff out, guys. So, guys, what did you think of the video I made on the biopolymer, the geological biopolymer? And the geological biopolymer was basically, something pretty awesome. It was basically using plastination, but also the properties of lead, because lead is very good at coating things, as we know. So lead is used for, it was used in old paint for coating things. Lead's also used, lead's used for so many things, and so if they used lead in this old type of glue, which, and then they have the drying oil as well to form a plastic layer, and in conjunction, they bind it all together. What do you think of that discovery, guys? That's been making some waves, actually, yeah. So, someone from Greece says, do you have any evidence for ancient drug use? Denny Marcora, I don't know what that. Denny Marcora is your name. Hello, Denny Marcora. So I couldn't read what your name was. So Denny, I really don't. All I know is that so the hashish was probably used by the ancient Europeans, the ancient people in China, those people who had those, the Tamarind mummies. Those people, they used it. You know what I mean? They used it. So, and they found they used them, and these people were sort of they were the witchcraft people. They had witch hats. They were wearing witch hats, basically. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Godzilla says, Mau Wow to go with the Hawaii lighter. Mau Wow. What's Mau Wow? It sounds like some Polynesian magical chant there. Some Polynesian people actually watch this channel as well. And one of them, he told me once when I wore that hat, the explorer hat, and he said, I look like a colonial oppressor. So Godzilla says it would be easy to detect the lead in stone. You know what I've done? I've actually, I've been printing out articles, and what you do, you can put them into manila folders. You see different articles of different things, and you can use the metal binders to put them into this metal stuff to put it into a manila folder. And I've been printing out articles off the internet because my bro has access to the articles, so he was able to get them for me. So I've got the work of metallurgical artificers at Machu Picchu, Peru, and I've got many other articles. Unfortunately, that the lead content that I've seen so far, they're measuring it in parts per million. I don't even know what they're measuring, to be honest. So that lead putty thing, I don't know. I haven't found much confirmation for it yet, but I've hardly looked. I've got time to read those articles either. Yeah, so Bob Dobby says, chatting with a boat builder about making it. Also, you're talking about the lead putty recipe. So that the lead is used. That was a video 2 videos ago. And that is, I believe. Look. The red stuff is it is probably the lead ore, and that's the red stuff. And then they had some other glittery stuff. Who knows about that? There might have been more than one recipe involved, you know, honestly. There would have been more than one recipe involved. I think that was one of the recipes, though. I really do. So Godzilla says Hashishins. Yeah, the Hashishins, the assassins, they, of course, used... they were obviously... apparently, they were on drugs while they were assassinating people. Presumably, you know, I reckon the thuggy must have been on drugs, too. They drugged up the people they were going to murder, and then they... Have you guys seen that amazing film about the thuggy? It's called The Deceivers with Pierce Brosnan in a lead role, and he paints himself darker and he becomes one of them, and he kills a few people as well in order to investigate and expose the cult, to eradicate them. And this is in the late 1700s, like early 1800s, I presume. So just amazing, you know. So Zero Control says, he says a few things, doesn't he? Oh, he's talking to Land Before Time. So now Godzilla is saying, Maui Wowie. Bow wow. Bow wow, mate. Bow wow. So, Mr. Asahoyu says, hey, Charles. Cheers, mate. Hello. Guten Tag. Asahoyu. Auf Deutschland. So, Jedi Mo says, what's your opinion on the Eucharist? What is the Eucharist anyway? It's bread, isn't it? Bread taken... It's just bread. It's just the bread on the tongue, right? You know, I reckon that's some Mithraic ritual. That's probably the opening of the mouth ritual in the church, because you're putting something in the mouth, you know, to wake them up. I reckon it's reincarnation. You're waking the person up. So I reckon that's opening of the mouth, and that's the Catholic version of that. Because of course, as we know, in Rome, there were Egyptian cults, there were Greek cults, there were all sorts of different temples, and priests were probably trying everything. If you were religious, you would try every temple. You know what I mean? You could do that on Collins Street. Here in Melbourne, they had the Theosophy Society, with a swastika next to a Jewish star, and opposite that you had the Baptists, and then next to that you had the Presbyterians, and then over here the Catholics, like 4 temples in one area, and you choose, you choose which one you want, you know. So I reckon they incorporate a lot of Egyptian stuff into Catholicism for sure, mate. So Peter says, was the pyramid built before the deluge? When? No, I think it was built after the deluge. Now, I used to think it was before the deluge, but maybe based on plan. And the reason is remember those causeways? So I've actually printed out an article on the causeways, and I found an article, and basically, where did I put it? I put it over here. And, you know, Colin Reader. So Pyramid Causeway articles. So a guy called Colin Reader on Pyramid Causeways. And I flicked through this article, and I haven't found... He doesn't know about the dates. Remember, I made a video saying they actually point to different sunrises of Holy Coptic dates. So if it's pre-deluge, they've got the same dates for thousands and thousands of years. So I think it's more likely to be more recent if the causeways are attached to the pyramids. I mean, what do you think? I mean, there's nothing... Archaeologists... Look, archaeologists do not do archaeoastronomy. They just do measurements and, you know, he's just saying, oh, this causeway is attributed to Snofru, this causeway is attributed to this guy. There's nothing about the dates that they point to on the sunrise, which is just fascinating. If they had read Norman Lockyer's book, they would be looking for that, because the name of that book was, what was the name of the book? It was, what was the name of the book? Looks like I don't know what the name of the book is either. There you go. The name of the book is, what the hell is the name of Norman Lockyer's book? It's The Dawn, I think it's The Dawn of Religion or something. So it's worshipping the dawn, you see what I mean? It's such a clever title. The Dawn of Astronomy. So it's worshipping the dawn, learning astronomy. So Just Plain Folk says, I think they know the truth behind many ancient mysteries. Obviously, they use these facts to retain power and advantage. What do you think the reason they ban travel to vast areas of the world, etc.? I don't know, sir. I really don't know. What's going on there? Rob says, morning here, I'm in Michigan. Yeah. So a guy with a Chinese XDNLQQQA says, so he says, firstly, the water damage on this, he said, what constitutes ancient? Drugs are well documented for at least 1,000 years. Then he says the water damage on the Sphinx would indicate it was built before the deluge. Then he says, what do you think about the Atlantis myth? Whether true in a literal sense, the multi-pyramids and linguistic continuity between languages with different branches across the world would indicate such. Interesting. Interesting. I don't know. No. I have a theory about the Atlantis myth. I think it's obviously it's Old Sarum, and in England, and the Matthew Paris map from 1200 AD, I think, generated the Atlantis myth, because when the Greeks saw that, they saw that there was a bridge to the north, and they said there are bridges to the north from the capital, and that's exactly what's on Matthew Paris map, a bridge going into Scotland. And it's in the middle of the map. Old Sarum's right in the middle of rectangular plain. It's, you know, I reckon it's definitely Old Sarum. 6 miles out, there's a wall, or there are ruins 6 miles out, so that might be the ruins of the wall. So that means Stonehenge was built from the ruins of the wall of Atlantis, maybe. But who knows? Atlantis is everywhere. It's everywhere in the Atlantic. Everything's sunk, even the Minoan Empire, even bits of the Egypt probably sunk as well. Yeah. So, Lapis Philosophorum says, may there be previous ways, New Age positions. White Spice says, I love this stream. It's like watching real life X-Files. The Dawn of Astronomy. There you go, the Dawn of Astronomy. Pottinger's Human says, yeah, it is suspicious how much area is banned from travel and how much areas drones and filming are completely banned. Asahoyu says, the Arabian Peninsula is proven Atlantis. Godzilla says, the powers that should not be control information to control us. They do know a lot more than us, but keep it hidden from us in ignorance. So, yeah, there you go. That's awesome. Mr. Greek guy, I'm just going to go out to see what your name is. What was your name again? It was Denny Marcoro. Denny says the stones of pyramids and other temples could have been moved with Archimedes' windlass if it existed back then, or something similar, but still doesn't explain how they positioned them. You know, I totally agree with you, Denny. You know, I'm sure that I reckon Archimedes was a librarian, and I reckon he read many of his discoveries, and he was inspired by what he read, because no one makes discoveries in isolation. He would have had books, and he would have read maybe ancient Egyptian books, ancient books from the Atlantic maybe, and, you know, yeah, I totally agree. He might have been looking at the previous technologies, yeah, for sure. So Zenev says, yeah, don't think of Atlantis as a city-state as much as a cultural sphere of influence. You're right, because Atlantis was 10 kingdoms on the Atlantic coast, or somewhere in the Atlantic. It might be the Sea Peoples, who knows? And Denny says Greece has some interesting caves that the army is guarding for whatever reason. People are constantly reporting UFOs and different unexplained phenomena. such as the Cave of Penteli. I never knew about this. This is interesting. Wow. Werewolf says, what do you think about the Bronze Age collapse theories? Yeah, this is so this is, for example, Odysseus. When Odysseus went home after the Trojan War, and I presume this is the one you're talking about. So in the 1180s, there was a some catastrophe. Something happened, and all the Mycenaean history is ended, and that's it. It's ended, and we don't know why. I would love to visit, Nestor's palace and even Ithaca and see those places. That would be amazing, Yeah, but I think also that so the Iliad and the Odyssey are actually they don't know the name. So, for example, Odysseus means odious one. It's not a real name, and none of them are real names. So, what's really going on there? What's really going on? So this could be a story. The Wine-Dark Sea, it could be the North Sea. They say it could be the North Sea rather than the Mediterranean. It could be a Viking story. It could be a sea people story. Odysseus took a really long time to go. Not a very long distance. So, did they put a Greek story on top of an earlier story? Because the Indians put an Indian story in the Mahabharata on top of a Sri Lankan story by putting their kings and their names in there. So who knows? Who knows? So Steph's, oh, hey, Mulder, how you doing? Yeah, cool. So Steph's Manic Shenanigans says, anyone else worried about how many earthquakes are going on in the world in the past? Oh, thank you so much, Decky69. Yeah. So what was I saying? I was saying Lapis Philosophy. No, what was I reading? I forget. So Asahoyu says the Arabian Peninsula got destroyed by a comet around India. It was an island. The Zinger says, hiya, Charlie, it's snowing in the UK. Jeremiah Shine says, hey. Peter Krantz says, there has to be another civilization that built the pyramids because they did not have the technology. Werewolf says, thanks, UCP. Hey, Mania. Werewolf says, thanks, you sea peoples and earthquakes and drought. So Zaniev says, without England's tin and North America's copper, there would be no Bronze Age. No Bronze Age. You're right. So Decky, thanks very much, Decky, says, what are your thoughts on the reason there are no megalithic structures in North America? You know what? I'll tell you why. Because the early colonists probably used them in their buildings. That's probably the reason. Because there would be megalithic structures. Got my golf hat. There would be megalithic structures in North America for sure. There must be. Because there were even megalith structures here in Australia, here in Victoria, here in New South Wales. I've seen photographs of them in Byron Bay, New South Wales. They came across the Pacific. They built megaliths here in Australia. But in the official journals, no, it's a no-no because they say, no, the Aborigines only built small little circles. So, yeah, they were probably there. I mean, you have so much stuff there that's been destroyed by the early farmers because they wanted to remove the Indian presence, the American Indians. So they, because obviously there was a clash of civilizations, and they just they got rid of that stuff. So Just Plain Folks says the U.S. federal government controls most of the western half of our country, banning travel and research. I didn't know that. There are sites all over the country that refute a rich history. Why are they afraid of older timelines? Yeah, they are afraid, aren't they? Like, for example, they always say that, like, for example, they say, so the early settlers thought that giants in America, that they thought that giants built the mounds, and ancient Europeans built the mounds, or ancient Greeks or ancient Hebrews. They even had people who spoke Hebrew on Columbus's ships because they thought the Indians will be speaking Hebrew because they thought, okay, this is the oldest language in the world. And if Indians have been in a civilization, they must be one of the oldest peoples in the world. So therefore, they'll speak Hebrew. And some Indians actually spoke something similar to Hebrew and similar to ancient Greek, so they were partly correct. So that's really interesting. Thank you so much. Someone's been very nice. William Watt, thank you so much. That's very, very kind of you. So anyway, and so they've refuted many of these mound builder stories, and they said, oh, these people are, maybe being a bit ignorant. They're saying, the Indians couldn't have built them by themselves. But, I mean, if the mounds are the same as in Europe, why say the Indians built them? Maybe the ancient Europeans sailed over and they built them too. Certainly the Clovers seem to have been European. So who knows? Who knows? Yeah. So Denny says, the Greek man, Denny says, Adam Mantios Sampson, Greek archaeologist, found ancient Greek artifacts dating to the early Greek periods in Cyprus. But the question is, how? How did they go down there? So many interesting stuff. Well, sir, that Cyprus was part of the Mycenaean kingdom as well. And in fact, I came across an interesting article a long time ago, and it actually showed archaeology. And they don't write articles like this anymore, but the guy actually compared what was in the Iliad to what was in the Iliad. The people from Cyprus, I think they only contribute a tiny number of ships, or they don't contribute anything at all. And this is mentioned. And then the archaeology shows that their kingdom was destroyed. And the guy writing the paper said it was probably revenge. And this is for what's recorded in the Iliad, that they didn't contribute to Agamemnon's expedition. So, who knows what's going on there. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, Cyprus, and you guys know, Cyprus means copper. Kypros is copper, right? So that's a copper island, and that's where they mined copper in that time. Ape kills snake, says earthquakes. Chicky Rose says, hey all. Decky69 says, what are your thoughts on the reason there are no megalithic structures in North America? Well, they've been used, sir. They've been recycled. All the megalithic structures here in Victoria, which did exist, have been recycled and reused, and they reused them. They reused them. They totally reused them, and they used them in buildings over in Darrenallum in Western Victoria, and they're inside wool sheds and things. Yeah. So Zaniev says there are tons ancient structures in North America, but most of them were earthworks. And yeah, you're right. And in fact, there were snake mounds everywhere. And the snake mound that survives, there were tons of snake mounds, and only like one survives. It's ridiculous. They destroy them, and they almost destroyed this one too. So Godzilla says odious can, in some interpretations, mean the red-headed one. Wow, I didn't know that. So he's a tricky redhead who was traveling around, maybe traveling around the world. That's why it took him 10 years, right? Because it doesn't take 10 years to go from Troy to Ithaca. So 10 years must be around the world, Yeah, maybe to Peru. So William Watt says, hi, Dr. Charles. This is Shovelhead 322. Did the copper go from Upper Michigan in so many more? Yeah, it did, because in Upper Michigan, you can go to the water's edge, and it's just extraordinary. You can actually see copper rocks on the surface. And where there is copper, there is tin and gold and silver. So this was a massive mining area, So I reckon that's King Solomon's mine in America for sure. And that would explain and Solomon must have been, the biblical Solomon was a guy who took the name Solomon. He was not Solomon. He just took the name. It was like calling yourself Robin Hood, or it was like calling yourself Kennedy, right? In today's day and age. If you're a Kennedy, or you're some kind of elite. So he called himself Solomon, but he wasn't the original. The original was a worldwide traveler, and he had a massive empire somewhere. Yeah, for sure. Don't you think? In esoteric Judaism, there's a concept of continual eras of golden ages to dark ages, and vice versa, as opposed to a lineal progression that generally moves upwards in an evolution. You've lost me, mate. It's 3:45 a.m. and it's too late for questions like that. So Chicky Rose says stargates all over New York City. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? The Mountain says maybe North America was uninhabitable. Asahoyu says origin pyramid builders Southern America, they were nomads. They migrated from old city to old city. Apple Kill Snake says, wonder if they would have remodeled Ayers Rock. If not, Deep Impact. Yeah. So Wes Wolf says, there's tons of mega old structures in US of A. Denny says, the Great Pyramid of Giza can focus electromagnetic energy, study shows, which could enable new sensors and solar cells. And he also says, calculate. Oh, where is it? I'm too far back, sorry. Oh, damn, I missed so. Oh, no. He also says calculations shows that in the resonance state, the pyramid can concentrate electromagnetic energy in its internal chambers as well as under its base, where the third unfinished chamber is located. That's incredible. I need to have a cigarette after seeing it. So, oh, it doesn't work. I tried that earlier, it didn't work. But I don't smoke anyway. So, that is so fascinating. So, Gumby says, hello, my friend. Always great to hear from you. Hello, Gumby. I used to watch you on TV. So, Alwyn says, Charles, why no one ever researched the mysterious megalith in Siberia and St. Petersburg? Were they remnants of Hyperborean colony? Truly mysterious. I don't know, sir, those megaliths. Are you sure they're not modern? Because there's one or two photos of them, and who knows what they really are. Who knows what they really are. So Asahoyu says, Moorish, Sfati Jews, and Sephardic business people pre-conquered South America. Tobias says, for those who want to know more, search for Douglas B. Voigt, Diehold Foundation, Theory of Multidimensional Reality, Sun Going Nova in 2046. A fatal paper cut, says academia has a problem with the scientific method. They do. Consensus creates careers and experts of repetition for hundreds of years. Any anomaly that goes against what is accepted is almost hostile. So true, so true. Gumby says, Clovis, a giant pre-flood dude. Ziggy Dan says, good afternoon, Charles. Hello, Ziggy Dan. Werewolf says, where are the silver mines in Mesopotamia? I don't know, sir, I don't know. Gumby says, pre-flood fairy people from Ireland, the Clovis. Denny says, they found a unique death cult going back to 4,500 BC in Cyprus last month. Fascinating. The artifacts are unique and not repetitive. That sounds, was it the Thuggy cult? That sounds amazing. Were they, what are the ancient death cults? Would it be the Bacchanalia? What would it be? That's really interesting, actually. Wow. Maybe a reincarnation cult. Pottinger's Human says, in studies, oral history is better preserved generation to generation. Probably because the process of memorization negates political correctness alterations you find in books. William Watt says, keep up the good work. Yeah, thank you, William. Asahoyu says, Oak Island has a snake mound too. Ziggy Dan says, isn't there a Stonehenge in a Great Lake? There is. M. Mulder says, no, they built a Walmart on top of the old stuff in North America. Lol, they certainly did, didn't they? Werewolf says, red ochre people. Tina Silva, hey, Tina. Godzilla says, a lot of the older stuff in America is underwater now because they were very coastal. All right. Werewolf says, dread Pirate Roberts. John Doe says, Batman law. Ape Kill Snake says, the bottom of Spain was also a copper mine that some say is the location of Atlantis. They sure do, don't they? There's a book on that, actually, written in the 1920s, and they go looking for Atlantis there, and they're digging up some mines. That's the Tartessus area. They're digging up some mines. William Watt says, thank you, King Solomon. Great idea. Asahoyu says, King Solomon treasure was the diamond tip stone cutting equipment of the old age. Hype says, good day, Charles. How are you? I'm great, Hype. I hope you're fantastic too. Jedi Mo says, I loved your books. Oh, cool. I'll have to skip a few because I'll have to skip a few because M. Mulder says almost 6 p.m. in the Netherlands. Wow. Mike's Movie Club says sexy beach. Tina says 5 p.m. in England. MJB says 11 a.m. where I'm at. Yo, man, can you shout out to my friend Philip McCracken? Hey, Philip McCracken. How's it cracking? Yeah. Right. So Pottinger's Human says they couldn't live in USA because of the Bigfoot. It was even in Santa Ana River, supposedly, lol. Oh, yeah. So, Brenda says, hey, guys, I'll just skip a few. Says, hey, guys, love to you, Charles. Hey, Brenda. Pottinger's Human says, speaking of corrupt academia, Dr. Fung has a big expose on how corrupt medical study system is. It blew my mind completely. Oh, it is. It's profit oriented. They make the archaeologists look like saints. You know what I mean? Some of the archaeologists. Decky says, why are humans the only species that requires toilet paper? You know, I'm thinking that too, because wouldn't they get feel a bit itchy, you know, don't the animals feel a bit, you know, incomplete without toilet paper? How do they do it? What do they, you know, I don't really get that, you know. Anyway. Ape Kill Snake says the Lady of Acre. That's that woman with the big earrings. Zinoviev says, yeah, really archaeology in particularly is badly out of whack, and the geological assumptions and even physics much of their dating is based on is so problematic. Billa says, haha. Ziggy Dan says, Ziggy Dan is talking to the Greek man, Denny. Calculations show, check out my video, are nubs electric? Pottinger's Human says humans need toilet paper because we eat an unnatural diet today of ground up plant food and vegetable oil. It's very oily, isn't it? I just had some Indian food earlier, and you know what? See, the Indian food's delicious, but the only reason it's delicious is it's got oil in it. That pretty much separates it from all the other food. The bread's oily, then the dip's oily, everything's oily, right? So, Afraid Not says, I say that wars are to destroy artifacts as well as kill people while making obscene amounts of monies. Meow Purr says, why did the Gauchis have such big fingers even compared to their overall size? So you're talking about the people who lived on the Azores, Canary Islands, and they may have built those pyramids. And you reckon they have got big fingers? I didn't know about this. They'd be good at the piano, that's for sure. Someone with Viking linear A symbols has retracted a message. Danny says, what's your opinion about the dogma that exists in the sciences? Oh, it's very dogmatic, sir. And they don't know what's going on outside their science. It's ridiculous. So one thing I've actually recently discovered is when you see a sunset, there's always clouds. There's always cirrus clouds. Often there's cirrus clouds shooting up perpendicular to the sunset. Have you noticed this? It's like to crown the sunset in the middle, and then after sunset at the beach, those clouds move away and disperse, but they're there at the sunset because sunset is high electrical energy. Morning and sunset, sunrise and sunset is the highest electrical energy, and I presume it's because the sun is polarizing the atmosphere. When it's at sunset or where it's at sunrise, suddenly the atmosphere is completely polarized, plus to minus. But in the middle of the day, it's more equally distributed. So therefore, like there's cirrus clouds, and the cirrus clouds are perpendicular to the sun. I'm noticing this so often. No one talks about it. What are we talking about again? But I just wanted to tell you that. So John Doe says, hey, mate, I'm in Vic too. Nice. You enjoying the summer? Yeah, it's nice weather, isn't it? Meow Purr says, if we ate right food, our poops would be less messy. That's the purpose of Metamucil. Right. You know, that's very interesting indeed. Thanks for that. So Pottinger's Human said, did my comment with a YouTube link to Duc de Fung's expose make it through? I didn't see it. Maybe not. I don't know. Ape Kill Snake says, perhaps we didn't pinch the... Okay. Ziggy says, is Phil McCracken a friend of Ben Doon? Pottinger's Human says, I have seen other people post links, these stupid spam bots. Yeah, YouTube doesn't like links. So, for example, if you look in the spam folder on your YouTube channel, if you have videos, you'll find lots of people have posted links, and then nothing has happened. They've just gone straight into the spam, and the user can't really control it. Just go straight into the spam. So maybe that's what happened. So Werewolf says, maybe just check out the Odysseus story, Troy. Ape Kill Snake says, you read that one out right now, sir. No. Meow Purr says, yep, the Gaunches mummies had huge fingers. All right. Zanaev says, any thoughts on the China Olmec collection? Mate, they are totally Chinese. That it looks like they are Chinese Filipinos. And the Filipinos, you can see they have spread a long distance because Japan is half Filipino. They get their dark skin from the Filipino, and they get their huge brains, partly from the Filipino, but also from probably the Denisovians. I reckon the Japanese must be a relic of the Denisovians, and there's some lost extinct race which is in the Japanese and in the Nordic people that makes them extremely fussy and hardworking. So and good at, they're loving gardening, loving tea. They like tea. There's a connection there. You know what I mean? So there's something there. So if the Filipinos spread to Japan, they probably spread to America as well. And all those Olmec statues, they look like Filipino fishermen, basically. They have Filipino or Indonesian features. Indonesians have very African features. So do Filipino people. Yeah. So Danny says, what got me into the sciences was a child's book about the Odyssey when I was 7 years old. Sciences are awesome as long as they are uncensored and away from dogmas. Yeah. Werewolf says, thunderbolts of the gods, also lightning magnetism. Someone writing with a linear A name says, it's used to notify that it's pulling the comment. Now it's totally there. Ape kills snake says, animals. All right. Decky says, what's your take on climate change? Have you seen Tony Hill? I don't want to talk about climate change, mate. I talked about it on Facebook, and one of my friends who was from India, started saying the West is responsible for all the pollution. We need to start building all these plants and stuff. But honestly, now it's India, China doing all the polluting. Obviously, all the overfishing, all the they need to fix it up. You know what I mean? They need to fix it up. MLAJ says, what's the topic, sir? Well, I'm just reading out people's comments, really, because it's 4 a.m. here, John says, Antarctic expedition, Charles. Let's go touch the dome. So Richard Lee says, China and Olmec connected by the old eastern half of the empire with shared capital in Mexico City. Aztec equals Aztec Cossacks. Nice. Godzilla says, Japan is what is left of Lemuria. Pottinger's Human says, you also used to be able to view people's profile from the chat. Now you can't, which is it? Oh, you can't. Okay, you can't. Oh, yeah, you can't. There's just, you can't click the names anymore. Look, they're not clickable now. Yes, the chat looks different now. It's all black. It was different color before. Asuhoyu says, Lapis Philosophorum. Samurais, no, he says, samurais were different people. White-bearded, Japanese, dark, no facial hairs. Richard Lay says, light bends a few inches in a mile, 1 key. He also says samurai come from Samatia in Eastern Europe. Oh, you're probably right, actually. Yeah, that's nice. And yeah. So Danny says, with all the fires at the Amazon rainforest, all the hidden temples are starting to come to light again. Samurais spread. There we go. Golf cap is backwards. It looks stupid. Yeah, it looks better. So samurais. Better read out the question. Let's move on. No, whereas I don't know what I was reading. Sorry. So, yeah, with all the fires at the Amazon rainforest, all the hidden temples are starting to come to light again. Spaniards spread smallpox when they arrived in the Amazon, and millions of Mayans died. Culprit Black says, "'Cause of me." All right. Linear A says, Sarmatians are Scythians. Samurais are animistic tribal Ainu spirit warriors. Windswept Dragon says, just back from the pub. Ours is still shut and all locked down. Hope you're. Yeah, so I went to one pub with a friend at the beach, and we were waiting at the literally at the door, and there was a table with the hand, their hand cream to wipe your hands, and they were going to take our name, but they weren't, there was no one there, so he's walked away. That unfortunately, but the restaurants, they don't even ask; they just let people in. Yeah. So Richard says, Ostiaks are Uralic, Aztecs are Prilitartessians. No one knows what Cossacks are, supposedly Mongoloid, but probably outbred by Slavic genes. Yeah, but so the Cossacks are basically what the Khazar Jews, right? So I often think of Russian people. They're sort of half Jewish, and that's where Jews are from. They're basically from Russia, aren't they? They're from Kazakhstan. They're from Caucasus. That's their homeland, isn't it? They're the Jews that are Jewish today. As for the ancient Jews, who knows what they used to look like? Because they all died off in Europe, didn't they? So who knows? I mean, I don't know. Denny says, with all the fires at the Amazon rainforest, all the hidden temples are starting to come to light. Oh yeah, I've read that. Okay. So Godzilla says it puts the lotion on its skin. So that's a meme. Werewolf says, sorry, I was driving. Oh, you were driving while you were posting. Okay. Electromagnetism and currents are the cause of the 12,000 and 6,000 year cycles. Interesting. Zaniev says, Robert Shepard has done a lot of research into the samurai. Y'all might find interesting. He says they're primarily Ainu. Oh, interesting. Culprit says, lol, no, it didn't kill the Mayans. They blocked seeing people's profiles because they want to try and slow the mind expansion. Yeah, they should let profiles, otherwise the chat's a bit less interactive, isn't it? Denny says, because that's the point of chat, like, interaction, right? That's why I'm reading your comments. Interaction, right? So Denny says, what's your opinion on the Fountain of Youth? Could it have existed? So the Fountain of Youth was possibly used to actually bring people. It could have been fake. It could have been used to bring people to America. As for the place, it's real. The place is real. There is a fountain there. Look up David Zink's book called The Stones of Atlantis from, I think, 1980 or 79. And he shows pictures of the Fountain of Youth. Just even Google David Zink Fountain of Youth, you'll see a photo of it. So he found it. So it's real. So who knows? And he said the water had a very calming effect, and it could be slightly radioactive as well. So Richard Lay says, out of Africa theory still stands, except that it was around 1,300 years ago when civilization came out of Mizraim, the first kingdom ever on the Nile River. Yeah, so Mizraim is the name of Egypt, is it not? It's the Bible's name of Egypt, Mizraim. Yeah, so Airliner Neil says, there are Inca ruins in the state of Georgia, here in the USA. That's amazing. Richard says, Cossacks equals knights, regular cavalry troops of the old empire. Forbidden History Archive says, hi, Charles, Desert Owl from Ohio. Hello, Forbidden History Archive. Cool. Ohio is a very nice state, and you have the Serpent Mound, and you've got Amish people, and you have beautiful rolling hills, and you have very fine roads compared to Michigan. Yeah. So Werewolf says, Zaneviev says, well, if the Sibians were riding around the whole Russia and satellite areas, they may have been from the tribe of Dan with some North Asian admixture. You're right. You're right. I mean, the Jews themselves must be from somewhere around there as well. Werewolf says, I'm pro-Neanderthal. We're in Georgia. I ran away from there 20 years. Did you know? Richard Lay says, but it was an ethnicity originally heard of Kazakhstan. Pottinger's Human says, out of Africa is pure BS. I don't even consider that option, lol. Richard Lay says the old empire. Another name, Israel, put out 12 military columns which colonized the world, basically. Ape kills snake says, Samuria Jack is awesome. Pottinger's Human says, not anymore anyway. I helped with figuring out how to do gene sequencing, did some of the programming while I was in school. That is so dangerous, isn't it, what they're doing? I can't believe what they're doing, releasing all these crazy viruses. I reckon like they've been releasing them honestly for the past 10 years. I've had a lot of crazy viruses, causing fatigue and stuff. And I reckon this is not the first time it's been released from a lab. There's been more. They are meddling. They are literally doing. Every lab is literally doing this gene splicing all the time. They must be releasing it all the time, even on their clothes. It's you can't control this. If you do it. Richard Lay says, Jew, those who worship God. Greek equals Christian in the old world. Asahayu says, the source of youth is the growl, an old Egyptian stone box now in America. People like Einstein lay inside and gain some years. Kung Fatty says, Anu, Enlil, and Enki, Lucifer, Satan, and the devil. Airline Anil says, they are in one of the national forests here. Scott Walter on the History Channel tried to investigate, but the Forest Service wouldn't let him. Just Plain Folk says, out of Africa is a lie. People did not originate from one location. Many primates originated across the world. Yeah, you're so right, actually. And it's true. Like even so, Europeans, right, for example, look exactly like the proboscis monkey, and many Asian monkeys have red and blonde hair. And they say we're from Africa, from a chimpanzee. And the chimpanzee, if we could get along with chimpanzees, everyone would have a pet chimpanzee. How come we can't get along with chimpanzees? We get along better with dogs. A dog is probably closer to a human than a chimpanzee in many respects. So, there's more to it than DNA. They're looking in the wrong place, surely, They're going to find that there's another code. Oh, we just missed another code. There's another code there, you know what I mean? Yeah. So Pottinger's Human says, back when I thought that genetic engineering would be an amazingly good thing, but instead was used to make strains of plants that could be sprayed 10 times as much, so we get 10 times the pollution. Oh, great. Yeah, I know. I remember having an argument with my year 12 biology teacher, and I was telling her, they're ruining the world with this genetic engineering. They're destroying ecological systems. And she was clever in everything except for this. And she said, no, this is science. So it's good. It's science. Yeah, great. Yeah. You know what? Knowing that a knife is sharp and cutting yourself is also science. What do you think of that? So Molly says, greetings. Molly always says, greetings from the Pacific Northwest, USA. Doggerland is a great subject. Humans lived with dinosaurs. I totally agree. Humans lived with dinosaurs. I mean, so the Encyclopedia Britannica 1972 says, the knowledge of dragons existed independently of the knowledge of those great ancient sauroids of the ancient past, or birds or whatever. And I'm thinking, well, is that really true? Did they really exist independently? Because that's too much of a coincidence, you know what I mean? So Zania says, yeah, the SARS stuff was more likely a bioweapon. Earth makes a great petri dish. Sure does. Yeah, definitely. It was bad stuff. I mean, if it's got AIDS in there, this is bad stuff. Like this is not done to be nice to people. Put it that way, right? Don't you think? So unless it was a vaccine, maybe it's an escaped vaccine. So they know they need the vaccine against the vaccine. And YouTube is going to say, why am I talking about this? And they're going to put the video lower. You know what I mean? Like they think they can control people. Like this stupid YouTube. Like who the hell does Google think they are? Honestly, this internet wasn't like this before. So Joe says chimps are vicious as. Yeah, they're terrible. They're terrible creatures. Like who has a pet chimp unless they're an organ grinder? Nobody. No one wants to have a pet chimp, Like, imagine trying to control that little beast. The best way to control a chimp is put a stake through its heart, a silver stake through its heart. Then you can control it. Who wants the chimp? No one. So how the hell are they related to us? I don't get that. You know what I mean? Like how? Like anyway. Pottinger says also, I hate they concentrate on chimps. Chimps are so awful. Gorillas and other monkeys, apes so much more noble. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, like the lovely the orangutan. No, what's the one? The orangutan. That's a funny one, isn't it? Yeah. Richard says the thing they know nature will overwrite all the junk data on the genome library. Mark Masters says Angkor Wat Stegosaurus. Xanavier says, how about the pig? Can't be pig parts used in organ transfers with humans. Exactly. We don't use monkeys for that. We use pigs. The pigs have a closer organ. There must be something more than DNA, for sure. Pottinger's Human says in many ways beef is more compatible than pigs. Beef is basically a natural human diet. I don't think you're a vegan. You're making that very clear. But, you know, I've gone vegan. I'm actually losing a lot of weight. I'm not completely. I had chicken today, but apart from once a week, I'm vegan. You know that, mate. I've got raw vegan, except for once or twice a week. What do you think of that? So Asahoyu says, Regeneria, an old free energy steam pump into a diesel combustion charge producer. Paul Saar says, haha. Kung Fatty says, every time I go to the doctor, which is hardly ever, my arm gets squeezed and I get poked with a needle. Looks just like a snake treatment. Pottinger says, artificial blood is made of beef blood. No one is allergic to beef. Paul Saar says, well, they're pretty close to us, though. Yeah, they are close to us. You're right. And humans also can be pretty terrible, can't we? And lots of humans. Like, I remember once, I actually spontaneously started laughing. Like, I was like, oh, you know, and I thought, oh my God, I just sounded exactly like a chimpanzee. You know what I mean? Like, it was actually an exclamation of surprise and laughter at the same time. And I did exactly the same noise. And I thought, where the hell did that come from? You know, like, what the hell? So we are close, yeah. Zanier says, my first wife was a terrible lizard. Oh, dear. Oh, no. Joe says, a chimp car will rip your balls off through your jeans. Okay. John Doe says, left turn Clyde. Paul Saar says, it's because a pig grows to adult in a few years. Chimps grow like people. I say. Denny says, water is a primordial element which underlay creation myths and stories around the world. The Egyptian Heliopolitan creation story recounts that the sun god Atum-Ra reposed in the primordial ocean. Yeah, you're right. And you know what else about Atum? Atum must be atomic theory, because Atum itself is actually, if you look up what Atum is basically matter. So they're actually talking about atoms, you know. So and the atom is the first one. You see what I mean? It's the first thing to exist. And then from the atom, more atoms come, more atoms, I don't know, something like that. So Linear A says they can take beefy blood. Culprit Black says it's not about DNA. Our microsatellites floating around it are responsible for most of the finer details. Pottinger says, I think you can be okay on a vegetarian diet, just not vegan all the time, but children and pregnant women need animal products. The thing, Pottinger, about vegan is it's actually really good, because what happens is you don't need to eat as much. You just have, you know, celery, carrot juice, eat a few bananas, and you're good for the whole day. And you just eat when you feel it. And the thing is, you can stuff yourself on that stuff, and you won't get fat. And in fact, you'll just keep getting skinnier. So it's actually really, really useful, you know. But you know, obviously, you know, if you know, do what you want, yeah. So Richard says feeling full and sleepy after a 6-course meal is an illusion. Afraid Alpha says Max Spires said domestic pig is a hybrid of human and wild boar. Disgusting. No wonder certain peoples eat no pork. Cannibalism. Yeah. Maybe you're right. I mean, pork is, I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit of a funny meat, isn't it? Because you can't, the thing about pork is you have to cook it really well, because if for some reason it must contain lots of sugar in it, because why is there so many parasites in it, you know? Like, there's more parasites in pork than anything else. I mean, you can eat pork's that, you know what I think's going on? So okay, my theory, guys, we're actually related to birds. Standing on 2 legs, we think we own the place. You know, birds think, see, mammals, possums will run away from us. Birds try and push us away. They think they own the place. They're like humans. They got the 2 wings. We got 2 wings too. And the other thing about birds is, you know, dinosaurs, they had forward-looking eyes. The T-Rex had forward-looking eyes. The kangaroo, very close to a bird, forward-looking eyes. Hop, 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 like a bird. Hop, 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 right? And then humans, walking on 2 feet, like the T-Rex, like the kangaroo, like the bird. Mammals walk on 4. We walk on 2. So humans are very bird. The crow has human intelligence. Or should we say that we humans have bird intelligence? So I'm thinking, could have been a very intelligent biped long ago who was a kind of bird/human. Is there a bird connection to humans as well? What do you guys think? So Asahoyu says Lapis philosophorum, pork with cinnamon. Barton Campbell's, hello, says check out 4th phase of water, polywater or something. Cool. Richard Lee says think the strongest animals are veggie. Think the strongest animals are veggie. Right. Molly says explain to me why we have a tailbone. Mine's degenerating and it hurts, and I never had to lash around a fit of temper. So unfair. Mark Masters says long port is great old recipe. Negrito says, did you sleep with any Veronicas? No, I did not. Afraid Not Alpha says, there was Veronica in high school, though. She was a bit into me. I should have done something with her. Oh, well, whatever. Afraid Not Alpha says, or is there evolution the true story of the creators? Joe says, my girlfriend looks like freshly hatched chick when nagging me. Denny says, if you deconstruct the symbolism from mythology, you get some pretty interesting stuff like the Lemurian Hydra and Hercules. It seems that Hercules was an engineer, not a demigod. Kung Fatty says, Charles, I enjoy your live chat and all of you contributing in the chat. Afraid Not Alpha says, it is always about RNA, DNA. Lapis, who is renowned for making very left field comments, very philosophical comments, says pigeons are the Matrix agents. The Linear A guy says, Charles, are you familiar with the work of Anton? I suggested him once what you said about the Incas taboo of an alphabet. Could be the same with Dogon. So someone actually sent me money to buy his book. I bought his book, but I haven't read it yet. Sorry. So if you're the person who sent it, there you go. I've got it. Thank you. John Doe says, we could be kangaroos. They are on 2 legs. Yeah, we're similar. Like, you must admit, like why are we on 2 legs? And they said, oh, it's because the brain got big. Okay, so there are lots of birds with tiny brains on 2 legs. The kangaroo hardly has a brain. It's on 2 legs. So this is ridiculous what they're saying. You know what I mean? So Afraid Not says, all diet choices are under the grace of Father God, true Christ, needs to be so against the severe corruption of food chain. Tobus says, good morning, Charles. Good morning, Tobus. How you doing? The Linear A guy says, there's another Pole in Australia. She's a singer called Hania. Know her? No, I don't. She kind of got famous in Newgrounds days for her osts. Afraid Ella says light, the mighty photon. Nice. Yeah, guys, nice. So, guys, is there any new theories you've seen lately in the news? Anything like that? Anything cool? Anything that you think, wow, this explains everything? Let me know. So, DC says, Charles, good to see you, mate. Have you ever heard of the salmon of knowledge? What's that about, mate? Take care. I've never heard of that, sorry. Moving on. Joe says, we went on 2 legs to warm our hand in our pockets. Afraid Not says, light builds all matter. The Zinger says, Charles, I caught COVID of a cat. Don't ask. Meow. Okay. The Linear A says Inca Empire media file.png. Check it out. Nice. Let's check it out. So I'll have a look at that. That'd be a nice picture. Let's have a look. It's not loading yet. Just got to wait a bit. So slow. Why is it so slow? It's not working. Come on, let's work. Come on. Okay, well, I'll look in a second when it finishes lightning. Pottinger says, I don't think the current news likes exploration of anything ancient. Reset cultural wipeout is coming. Totally agree. Pottinger also says, probably not the first time. Asahoyu says, in the Polata in Lhasa, Lhasa is the capital, Tibet, a Thenka roll picture tells about a mother, an ape with tail. Tom says, isn't the idea that we walk on two legs as the tree cover was disappearing? Marcel Stegman says, Charlie, hey Marcel, how you doing? And the Linear A guy says, these could be Inca glyph alphabet. Okay, let's look. So mate, it says there is a typo in the wiki. It's not loading it. This site can't be reached. You gave a wrong link. Sorry. So, So, yeah. So he said, isn't the idea we walk on two legs as a tree cover? Look, that's an idea. Look, another one I've seen is from the aquatic ape. We walk on two legs so we can wade into the water and have a look downwards without being in the water. Maybe that works or not. I don't know. Hello, Lloyd. How you doing? Nice. So, Afraid Not says, lol, zinger, I have a Yorkie who cleans my COVIDs if I don't cover my nose. All right, that's very interesting. Aiden says, hello. Hello, Aiden. St. Martip Ants says, no parasites in our locally reared, happy, healthy, nutrient-dense pigs. So much misinformation out there. Richard Lay says, thanks, everybody. And remember, they have lied about it all. History, astronomy, atomism and evolution, and the popular image of the world as a fake, as a bowl of plastic fruit. Okay, I'll check now your link. Let's see what happens. It's not working, mate. Your file could not be accessed. It goes to Dogon People, Serious Mystery. Hang on, Toguna, is that the one? What do you want to show me? What the hell is that? Toguna, what's that? The hell is that? You want to see? I'll show you what I'm looking at. I don't know what it is. What the hell is that? I don't know what that is. Oh, that's funny. Anyway, so, hey, Mark. He says, greetings from Rhode Island, USA. Hey, DC says, okay, maybe something more up your street, mate. Gudung Padang, thoughts? That's something in Indonesia, right? Who knows? Tom says, I wonder if gorillas who would have been in the same environment also developed into a humanoid. My brain is falling asleep, so I better cut this out. I'll cut it out in like 15 minutes and then I'll probably head to sleep because it's 4:24 a.m. and yeah. But anyway, it's so nice talking to you, so I'll keep to it going for now. So Team Mizira says, greetings from Canada. Yeah. Nice. Danny says, opinion on psychedelic drugs. It seems magic mushrooms have been used for thousands of years. There are many ancient Egyptian, Greek, etc. temples that depict mushrooms in ceremonies. It sounds awesome. Yeah, but I've never really researched it, Danny, so I don't know much about it, unfortunately, but it must have been used. Also, I know that volcanic vents, according to Robert Temple, the gases in volcanic vents were at oracles, and these were used to sort of hypnotize and brainwash the people, thinking they were listening to a god when they were actually listening to a Wizard of Oz type character standing behind a statue or something like that, and they thought the god was talking to them. So that was how the oracle worked. And of course, they justified this by saying, we need the money, I guess, Yeah. So Marcel Stegman says, let's set up a better hat fund. Yeah, you don't like my golf hat? My golf hat. That's my golf hat. Play golf, Yeah. So Just Plain Folk says, ancient architect has gone full-blown establishment Egypt and OAST. Uncharted X and Jimmy from Bright Insight got special access to cover Egypt to build tourism. You're honest and should go. Thank you so much, Just Plain Folks. Yeah. Ancient architect, yeah, he wrote on Twitter that he thinks like people are going to start attacking him now because he's done this. it's, you know what, it's because he's getting older now, and as people get older, they become more conservative, and I'm becoming more like that as well, you know, unfortunately, you know. And I'm shying away from some of those ancient astronaut theories, but I do believe in them because you can't not believe in them. The information's there in the Bible, it's there in the old books, it's there in the Mahabharata. Yeah, it's pretty late. I should go to sleep. It's 4:26 a.m. You know, it's yeah. So he's saying, "Ask, do I know Dave and Evan Strong?" I interviewed them a few times. P. Rick says, "Looks like a proper drinking cap to me, is it?" Someone said, Lapis says, "Padang like Nan Madol." Raf says, "Hi mate, good to see you." Hi Raf, good to see you too. Captain DK Gaming says, "Greetings from Awa, USA." Greetings, sir. Nice. Melissa Miller says, "The pic was very old Masonic temple." I see. I didn't know what that was. It was some ancient American Indian thing or something. Mark Collard says, "Good night and thank you." Good night, sir. Sam says, "Oh my God, I just caught the end of this." Yeah, like a few more minutes and let's go to sleep. And Mulder says, "It was fun again. Have a good night. Big kiss." Mwah. Yeah. So Linear A says, "Yes, that Wikimedia link is great. Put this in search." Okay. I'll look up your link into the search. And what does it find? It just finds a bunch of. Oh, it's many different pictures, mate. It's not giving me anything conclusive. So Hype says, "I still entertain all kinds of ideas, but I have more favorite ones." Tobu says, "What do you think of their ideas?" Villeneuve says, "We are at the end line. The species that is all the species at the time, without physical weaponry, forcing us to use the mind and therefore mimic nature. We are nature. We are the result, the gardener, the caretaker." Melissa Miller says, "Dogon." Molly O says, "I recently caught a vid about a new archaeology coming out of Russia. They possibly discovered a diff branch of humans, which is genetically different from Neanderthals and us, that existed with us." Matthew says, "Hi from Dudley, UK." Hey, Matthew. Asahoya says, "They are building Padang like Madol against water rise 12,000 years ago." Yeah. Tobu says, "That's no answer. Lol, lol, lol." So what do I think of their ideas? What ideas? Oh, Dave and Evan Strong. I think they're great ideas. I love their ideas. I love that they're talking about ancient astronauts because not many people have the guts to do that, you know. And I don't even want to talk about it too much. I sort of changed my website to make it a bit more conservative because I have made conservative archaeological discoveries. So I don't want people to ridicule me or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because it's just not worth it. You know, I've pushed it, but you can't keep pushing it forever. You know. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. Afraid Not says, "Loves you, Charles. You're my favorite genius, and I have a nice long list." Thank you, Afraid Not. That's very kind of you indeed. Okay, guys, I'll head off now. Good night. I'll go to sleep. I'll just lie in bed. It's damn hot here. That's why I did this live chat, and I'll go to sleep. And Culprit Black, one more comment. He said, "They found a city that's so old it turned to stone in Russia. It looks like a honeycomb rock or stratified. It couldn't be natural because it's patterns." You can just leave a quick link to that. And so good night, everyone. Thank you. Hey, Denny, take care. Werewolf, thank you so much. Bye, Hype. Cheerio, everyone, and have a good time. And yeah, good nighty. Good nighty, 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 nighty. Bye-bye.